All right. Hello to all my wonderful music students out there, and anyone else tuning in. Hello and welcome. My name is Miss Macy, and today, what this recording is going to be about is this is going to be like a video recording of the masterclass I presented on practicing. Yay! Get excited. Um, but the part that's going to be really, really important for you is the student journal. So I'm going to be linking a copy and or making a copy available to you in order to have your own practice journal, student journal, or like answer sheet, whatever you'd like to call it. But that's going to be a really important part of your own personal reflection because practice journeys, they are so personalized and one size does not fit all. And that's going to be kind of a theme that we start to talk about together. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Um, I was told this looks like a bean or a peanut, and I cannot unsee it now. So you'll have to tell me if that's what you think, because now I definitely see it. Alrighty, so welcome to this mini masterclass on practicing. Okay, so today our journey into the world of practicing. What are we going to talk about? So first of all, the current practicing. What practice techniques do you currently have? And how do they either help or hinder your practice? And we'll talk about some differences in those. All right, a practice plan. The biggest statement I hear about practicing is that you don't have time or you forgot to. So we're going to make sure we have a plan that ensures that does not happen. All right, so effective practice space. How do we create an effective practice space? And I have talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to make sure you had these notes. Alrighty, so practice techniques. Which techniques work best for you in finding and forming what we call our practice toolkit? All right, practice reflection. So how do we effectively reflect on our practice to keep improving it? And finally, tips and questions, so extra tips for success, and then any opportunities for questions. Alrighty, let's do it. Are you ready? I think we can do it. So, and as we go throughout this, I will be hopping between the teacher presentation and then the student journal to tell you about some things, just some activities you can be doing. So first of all, of course, you can either write your name by editing this directly by making a copy, or you can print this out and write it on paper, okay? Alrighty, so let's go ahead and analyze our current practicing. So let's take a moment to think, what do our current practice habits look like? So this zone, and really quickly, this is a very safe, honest environment. Please do not be embarrassed about where you are, because we all start from somewhere, right? And we can pretty much all improve. Even if you're over here, you can still definitely improve. Alrighty, so all the way to the left, this says, I feel my practicing needs improvement. All right. In this orangey middle spot, I feel that my practice habits are okay, but definitely need improvements in certain areas. And then finally, I feel my practice habits are very strong, but of course, we're always still looking for other ideas. So on your student journal, I want you to go ahead and draw a smiley face on the section you think best describes you. All right. Okay, so I trust that you have done that. And for all these activities, feel free to pause the video and then go ahead and do that or come back to them. But I highly encourage you just to do it as we go. Alrighty, so quick reflection on this part. And what specific areas of your practicing would you like to improve? So we're going to make 3 statements about improving our practice. Let me hold on, plug that in pretty quickly. Sorry about that. Alrighty, so some examples include I would like to increase the consistent number of days I practice. I would like to learn how to spend my practice time instead of just sitting there waiting for it to end. Or I would like to learn how to overcome challenging practice days. So I would like you, with those in mind, go ahead and write 3 statements of what areas you would like to improve your practice. Alrighty, so welcome back. Our goal here is to make sure practicing is effective, efficient, and fun. Okay. In other words, we are getting what we need to done in a timely manner while having fun, of course. Okay. And those little notes are going to be there for you. Alrighty. So before we get into our next part, really just quickly think, why do you think having a practice plan is important? And feel free to write bullet points down, sentences, whatever you'd like to do, or just think about it. And if you're kind of stuck on that question, maybe you're not sure, think about why it is important to have a plan for anything. All right. Okay. So, number two, practice plan. Now that we have an idea of areas we want to improve, let's move on to creating practice plans. All righty. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to this website. All righty. Again, and this will be linked or made available to you. And this is all about creating a music practice schedule that's perfect for you. Not perfect, but right for you, because nothing is ever really perfect in the music world or any world. But anyways, these are some steps you can take to ensuring that the practice plan you create is just right for you. Alrighty, and as you read through, take notes on some strategies they give you and all that good stuff. Alrighty, so once you have read that, I'm going to quickly recap some of the things they talked about, okay? So, two options for creating practice plans. So, you can have digital. So, creating a digital practice plan can help you stay consistent by setting alarms, alerts, all of that good stuff. Or handwritten. Handwriting a practice plan can help you edit easily as you need to, or some people just prefer handwriting or digitally, either one. It is really up to you. Don't feel obligated to do just one either. You can absolutely use both. I definitely use a combination. So on your journal, student journal, I want you to circle the one you think would probably work best for you. And again, you can edit it as you need to. Alrighty, so 6 steps for creating a practice plan. And this is from that source that we looked at. So I think it's a really awesome source to continue looking at. Alrighty, so first schedule. Sit down each week, choose a day. I choose Sundays because I just plan out my whole entire week on that day and just see what I need to get done. And then write in your practice plan for the week. So this is really setting yourself up for that success. However, it is important to remember that as we go throughout the week, things may happen that we didn't plan for, and that's totally fine. So, pencil in those extra sessions in case you miss one during the week. And remember that your health really comes first in all of this. Alrighty, so outline, write in what you plan to practice as well as any specific dates. So, an audition, a concert, even a lesson coming up for that week, just so you know kind of what you're moving towards. Alrighty, consistency. This is a big one, y'all. You will see results if you stay consistent, okay? It might not happen right away. And you might go through times where you're being really consistent, but you don't see that kind of manifesting itself in your practice. But I promise, even myself as your teacher or your own teacher, um, we can definitely see that. And then eventually you will see it. All right. So remember that 5 days for 10 minutes is absolutely better than 1 day for 50 minutes. Okay. And the more you do that, a little tip, y'all, the more you do that, the easier it will be to continue with it. Okay. Just getting that head start is some of the hardest things. All right. Reward. So reward your extra hard work. Find what motivates you. So we have, I know, in my studio, we have, Chinara points. It could be candy. We have a prize box that you're working towards. Or if your parents are okay with it, of course, you could have extra screen time after you finish your practice, whatever excites you, okay? Whatever motivates you. All right, community. So just like you're doing, taking lessons and classes will help you stay connected. And if you want to hear a little bit more about some different things that can help you stay connected, definitely let me know. I would love to talk about that. All right, remember that practice makes progress. All right, let's check in on our student journal. All right, we're doing good. Okay, so now let's move into modeling and creating one. So your assignment this week in Tanara will be creating one of your own practice plans, okay? And this should be something you do each week, again, on that day you chose. All right, so the first document, and of course, if this one doesn't work for you, you can find another. This is called a time blocking schedule. And basically it shows you each day. Notice Sundays are not on this. So let's say you weren't going to practice on Saturdays, which is totally fine. You can, of course, cross this out and put Sunday. But basically, it gives you like the hours, kind of in increments of an hour for each day. Okay. So, the goal of this is to help you see when you have available time that you can practice. Now, sometimes, let's be honest, we get really, really busy. Y'all have school schedules, um, uh, sports, extracurriculars, orchestra, music, any of those, art, any of that, and studying, of course, and just taking time for yourself. So scheduling this can be a tricky thing, but once you do it, I think you'll find that you can really stick to it. Okay. All right. So that's the time blocking. And again, you don't have to fill up this whole hour block, right? If you just want to do 15 minutes, you can find about like that fraction of the block and just color that in. Okay. All right, and we'll be talking about the rest of this page as we go on a little bit later in our little master class. But this will be a really good both planning and reflection sheet, okay, for you to start. So this is where you can put the date and then the duration. Don't focus a lot on the duration right now. This might just be helpful to see how much you can get done in a certain time. But yeah, please just focus more on quality over quantity. Of course, remembering that consistency is important, okay? But don't kind of strive for like, I don't know, 3 hours, be very realistic, okay? All right, so this is where you're going to put your goals as well. So, what I would like you to do, either pause the video now and go ahead and work on each of those for this upcoming week. All right, or if you want to wait and do it a little bit later, just before I see you all again, or when it's convenient, go ahead and do that, okay? All righty, so that is that in your student journal. All right, so I would encourage you, if you want to go ahead and take a quick break. Sorry. Okay. And grab a snack or grab some water and then meet me back here. Okay. I'm gonna grab some water too. Alrighty, friends. Well, welcome back. We are on chapter or topic 3, an effective practice environment. So how do we create an effective practice space? All right, so here's actually a video I recorded of a tour of my practice corner. Unfortunately, the way I'm kind of sharing this with you all, no. Okay. I knew what happened. It almost X'd me out, but this will not let me share it through this, but I would encourage you to go on YouTube to Thrive Music Academy and you will see it. It'll probably be titled like Effective Practice Space, or I can also put a link in for you. Okay. But as you're watching that, there is a spot to take notes on some things you notice, see, maybe hear that I say, and that you want to take note of. Okay. All right. So here's a checklist or summary for that effective practice environment. So a music stand, okay, headphones, pencil, or 2 or 3 or 100. Um, optional cloth. I play with cloth, so if you want to have some cloths at the ready. Something that's not on this list, I would always have your rosin nearby. Again, being super careful with applying that. But next, your practice journal, a mirror. Again, it doesn't have to be a full-on floor-length mirror, but just a little something you can be self-checking yourself, your posture, your bowing, whatever it might be, or a different instrument. Again, posture, breathing, whatever that might be. Water and a snack, timer, and then a metronome and tuner, okay? The biggest thing I want you all to take away is to remember to make your practice space your own. So I have pictures of my friends and I at fun music events or rehearsals, posters or art, music art, or past letters, awards. Honestly, I have a letter I wrote to myself when I was young, when I was just starting music, and that has gotten me through a lot of challenging practice days because I saw my genuine love for it and I was like, oh yeah, this is just one of those little challenging days. So anything to keep you inspired. Okay, and you also have that list. And please don't be afraid to add some extra things that help you, okay? There's some extra spots for that. Quick reflection before we move on. What makes a room or space a good practice space? All right, so are all spaces suitable for practicing? Let's think. Probably not, right? If it's not focused, if it's not quiet, it's probably not going to be the best practicing space. All right, so what room and space do you think would be best for you to practice in your house? Okay, even on those days that it's a really nice day, I like to take my practicing outside, um, and that's totally fine. So just find some spaces that will work for you. And then again, what other items should you have with you while practicing? So feel free to add them to the list. All right. All right, hang in there. We're almost there. Okay, so in chapter 4, practice techniques. So the question we're all asking, how do we practice? All right, so here's a truth bomb. The truth is there is no one way to practice. So unfortunately, there's no one size fits all type thing that I can just go ahead and tell you and you can do. The important thing here is to try different techniques and see which ones work for you. So, this is what we call having your own toolkit. And as you grow as a musician, your toolkit will constantly change. Okay, some things you feel the need to recycle, right? Some things you want to add. It's always going to be going through a cycle of change. That's totally fine. All right, I want you to think about this, true or false. Right now, the way you practice is playing through the exercise, right, once or twice, and then putting your instrument away for the day. Okay, so I want you to think about if that's true or false. Again, this is an honest, safe space, no judgment. This is just going to help you kind of see where you're starting. All right, so, and there is a spot for you. So, reflection based on kind of that answer, even if you do that or you don't do that, do you think that is an effective way to practice? Do you find yourself taking anything away from that, like learning wise, like improvement, or is it kind of just playing through it? Don't get me wrong, sometimes we need those times where we review something for the matter of reviewing it, right? But the majority of your practice should be a discovery, should be a journey. It should not just be reviewing, if that makes sense, okay? But again, there is a time for that. So before I give you some ideas for a toolkit, what are some ideas of things you could do to change the way you practice? Even if it's as simple as always having a pencil with you. That's something that could definitely improve. Okay. All right. So think through those. We're going to hop back here. So, what we actually need to do is expand our toolkit. So, musicians have so many things in their toolkit, warm up techniques, technique exercises, practicing pieces, injury prevention, listening to music, music theory knowledge, all of that good stuff. The cool thing here is that our toolkits can really go past just playing music. In your toolkit can be listening ideas, what to listen for in music, or stretching techniques. It can be a lot in addition to that. Alrighty, so what I want you to do now, what I want to encourage you to do, go ahead and go to this article. And again, it will be made available for you. Okay. And here are some, oops, just clicked on that beautiful picture of a violin. Let me go back here. Okay. So here are some practice tips to help you improve fast. And this does say for violin, but honestly, these can be applied to a lot of different instruments. So don't stay with me if you're a different instrument. All right, so I want you to look through all of these and see which ones might work for you, okay? While you're doing that, I want you to have this little spot open. All right. And this says what I want in my practice toolkit. Okay, and if that's not enough room for you, that's totally fine. You can start typing over here or even um, writing on paper, okay? Alrighty, so if you have a question about how to use that specific tool, ask your teacher or ask me, okay? You study with me. It's just like when your one of your parents or just someone gives you a like a hammer. You're like, I'm not sure how to use this. That's kind of what our tools are, okay? So once you know how to use it, you can use it to aid you in getting something done, right? All right. So in person, we looked at an excerpt and try adding some of these in. So I would definitely encourage you to do that, even if it's an excerpt you've done before or something you haven't quite done yet. Go ahead and just pull that and see if you can implement some of these things. Alrighty, we are almost there. So practice reflection. How to effectively reflect on your practice to keep improving it. Okay. So here are some steps for concluding a practice session. So wrap up, just like we do in my lessons, at least, or you might do in some different lessons or whatever it might be. We always do kind of a wrap up or an exit ticket, any of that to kind of slowly conclude for the day. So I would strongly advise against putting your instrument away immediately, okay? You might be tired, but stick with it, okay? So try to play some long tones or a slow scale and then stretch before packing up, okay? Please, please stretch either before or both before and after, okay? All right, reflecting and journaling. Keep track how long you practice, and you can do this in Tanara, absolutely. Or if you don't know what Tanara is, that's totally fine. If you're kind of outside of Thrive Music Academy, there are some awesome kind of ways just to keep track how long you practice, and a good old timer, of course, right? And also what you practice. So this is going to help the next time you pull out your journal, you're going to know exactly what you did last time, and then that can kind of guide your practice. All right. So then reward, you just did an amazing job. So treat yourself. And again, find something that motivates you. All right. And those notes are going to be in that student reflection as well. Okay. So this is a really good, if you don't know how to start about kind of reflecting on your practice session, here's an awesome printable by the online metronome, which is again a great online metronome. And just overall good practice resource. And if you remember at the beginning of our time together, I talked about this first part. Now, the reflection part is going to be the last part. Okay. So things that went well, I wasn't happy with, and I tried to fix it by, right? That's where your toolkit comes in. Next time I will work on, and then I want to ask my teacher about. Awesome printable. Okay. So here we're getting into the final few. So extra tips, always tune as part of your warm up. Never play on an out of tune instrument, okay? And if you need if you need a review of that or some extra help, let me know or let your teacher know. Have a pencil readily available. Incorporate music gains or videos into your session. One of my favorite ways to have a little brain break when I'm practicing is to listen to music, whether it's what I'm working on, all the way to just some upbeat, fun music and have a little dance party. Okay. Set a goal for how long you want to practice. Again, I would advise against really focusing a lot on that time, but having a goal can help you if you're having a hard time, meeting where you want to be. And always take breaks after 20 minutes. You might even need a break before that, and that's okay. All right. This is what works for you and constantly improving. Alrighty, so any questions? So I opened this time up for questions. Now, if you have a question, or questions, multiple, that's totally fine. Definitely, if you're a student online, you can absolutely ask me, or you can ask your teacher, or however you like to do that, okay? All right, so I'm gonna leave you with a final few thoughts and then we'll wrap up for today. Okay, so there are 1,440 minutes in one day, according to Google. So carve out that time to do something you love. And I know sometimes when you're just starting music or anything, you might not absolutely have a passion for it. But the more time you carve out, I think the more that passion really, really grows. All right. So just some thoughts. finally, and this quote is actually from Julian Michaels, and she's a personal trainer, but I think this can absolutely apply to what we're talking about. So it's not about perfect, it's about effort. And when you bring that effort every single day, that's where transformation happens. That's how change occurs. So most of you all probably go to music lessons once a week, okay? But the transformation, we really leave that up to you all. As teachers, we leave that up to you all. And I know in my personal kind of music journey, that's where my transformation happens. That's when I'm in the practice room. That's when I'm discovering things. Sometimes that happens when I'm at rehearsal, but a lot of the transformation happens when you're in that practice space, okay? All right. So, there is a final thing. So here is just a spot for you to put questions you have or notes, any of that, in your own student journal. I would definitely encourage you. This is yours. So write notes, write anything from this kind of session today that you need to. Alrighty, friends. So I wanted to conclude by saying happy practicing and thank you so much for listening and kind of going through this presentation with me or this masterclass or whatever you want to call it, whatever's fine. This presentation template was created by SlidesGo and I thought it was adorable. I loved it. Although I still can't unsee these little objects right here as being like beans or something. But anyway, and my name is Miss Macy, and I am a teacher at Thrive Music Academy. Of course, if you're my student, you're probably like, I know that, of course. But anyways, I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day and happy practicing. Good luck.